Hey stats students, since I'm not in class, I wanted to make a video to help you out with slides 5 through 8. So I'm going to use the police killings data as an example here. And let's go ahead and get started. So I want you to look at a quantitative variable. I think that with this police killings data, the age is probably the easiest quantitative variable. So what I want to do is I want to compare age between two different categories. So maybe I'll look at the ages for just Hispanic and Latino and compare those to the age distribution to just white people. And I'm looking to make these comparisons. I'm looking to compute the mean. So let's set up a table that will help me. So mean for white and then mean for Latino. We're also going to do the median, standard deviation, IQR, but to do IQR, we're going to have to compute Q1 and Q3, so let's put those in there. IQR, the range, the min, the max, and then any outliers. I put the min and the max because we'll need those in order to compute the range. So the way that we do this is I want to look at just the data for whites and figure out all of these, and then just the data on ages for Latinos and figure out all of these. So let's go back into the sheet. The easiest way to separate the data is to create a filter. And we're going to look first just at, let's do Hispanic and Latino first since that pops up nicely. So now I'm only seeing the Hispanic and Latino information, and I want to grab all their ages. So because the filter doesn't actually delete the other values, I actually want to copy these ages into my new sheet. So we'll call this Latino ages. Put them here. Now let's calculate the white, let's grab the data for the white ages. So I have to go back into my filter, unclick Hispanic Latino, click on white, and then I want to grab all of these ages for just the white people. And remember, these were white people that were killed by police. And I'll leave out the unknown value. Alrighty, great. So now, to calculate the mean, I can use a formula. The formula is equals average. So I'll click on average, and then it wants to know what data I want to use. And I'll just highlight, something's going on. Highlight all of my white ages. Okay. Enter. So I don't really like how slow that is, so I'm going to delete these titles for now, and that way I can just grab the whole column. So for median, I'll click equals and start typing median, and then I want to grab all that data. Calculated the median for me. For standard deviation, I'm going to type equals standard deviation. Grab the standard deviation one. It wants me to use B2 and B3. That's not what we want because B2 and B3 are those two values. So I'm going to have to click on my column again, press enter. For Q1, this is the first quartile. So our formula for that is equals quartile. Then I grab my data and I have to put comma 1 because I want the first quartile. For Q3, I do equals quartile, grab my white data, comma 3 for third quartile. IQR is Q3 minus Q1, so I can do equals Q3 minus Q1, enter that. The range is going to be the min minus the max, so let's calculate the min first, equals min, white data, 17 equals max. Click on it, click on the white data, 75. So my range is going to be equals max minus min. Enter. Now for the outliers, we actually want to write down how many outliers there are in each category. So what I do is I figure out my upper bound and my lower bound. The upper bound is going to be Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. So I can make that formula equals Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. So that's my upper bound. My lower bound is Q1, sorry, minus 1.5 times IQR. So then I can go in and count upper outliers. And the way that I'll do this is by sorting this column. It moved things around over here, but we'll fix that in a second. So upper outliers are going to be anything that's bigger than 70.5. So I'll go all the way down. We'll see how many we have. We have 3 upper outliers. There's 71, 72, and 75. So I've got 3. Lower outliers are anything smaller than 2. So I don't have any of those. So now I know I have 3 upper outliers, and lower outliers, I have 0. So now I would repeat the same process for Latino. So equals average Latino data, enter. So I'm going to pause this and compute all of these with the Latino data, and then we'll go ahead and make our box plots after that. Okay, we're back. I have done all the calculations now with the Latino data, so I used column F, which was the Latino data. And I found that the mean age of the Latinos was smaller. The median age of the Latinos was approximately the same as white. They had approximately the same standard deviations. The first quartile for white was bigger. The third quartile for white was also bigger. They had similar IQRs, similar range in ages, similar mins. The max for white was bigger, and the white data had more outliers in the ages. It had 3 upper outliers, while the Latino data only had 1 upper outlier. So that's my initial comparison. Now I want to make those parallel box plots or parallel candlestick charts. So to do that, I need to move some of these values over into this format. So I need to grab the minimum age for whites, Q1 for whites, the median, Q3, and the max, all for whites, and then do the same for the Latino. So if we look here, the minimum age for whites was 17, the minimum age for Latinos was 16. Q1 for whites was 28, and Q1 for Latinos was 25.5. Median for whites was 35. Median for Latino, was 35.5. Q3 for white was 45. For Latinos was 42, and the maximum age for whites was 75, while the maximum age for Latinos was 68. So now I can grab all of this data. I don't need that top row, I just need these labels, and insert a chart. The chart that I want is that candlestick chart, right down there. So now what I'm seeing, and I want to adjust this a little bit so that we can have it labeled properly. So if I go into Customize, Chart Axes and Titles, let's give it the title Age Distribution Between Whites and Latinos Killed by Police. Okay, great. So what is this candlestick chart showing me? I can see that most of the white ages are concentrated between about, well, this is our Q1 value, so between about 28 and our Q3 value, which was 35, whereas the interquartile range for the Latinos was slightly bigger. Those are between 25.5 and 42. So we've got a little bit of a bigger range in those middle values. The Latinos had the youngest person, while the whites had the oldest person. Both of these are roughly symmetric in their age distributions because the tails are about the same length on both sides. If you think about what this is actually showing, this is the lowest 25% of ages, the middle 50% of ages, and the upper 25% of ages. So the whites are more closely distributed or more closely related in that middle range, but there are some possibly outliers on the low end and the upper end. So this is what I'm looking for to go into your slides 5 through 8 and the types of conclusions that I'm hoping that you will make. And I hope that this video reminds you of all of those formulas that you need in order to get this done. I'm sorry that I'm not in class today. I'm presenting at a workshop in Seattle, and so I'd rather be with you guys. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. See you soon.